Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This is the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey.
TA! We live! We live! What's up, everybody? It's time for our midweek show. Got some stuff to talk about. Got some things to discuss, to rehash. We got an LSU baseball game going on right now. Tigers are up currently 1-0. We'll rehash some things with the spring game and a little Lagniappe to finish the show off.
I do not know how to pronounce it, bro.
Lagniappe.
I was like, Lagniappe?
Oh, my goodness. Lagniappe. Lagniappe.
Oh,
Yes. So that's what we'll be talking about for this show. Bo Landry, sorry, missed y'all this past weekend. How was the trip down? Zach made the trip down. So, Zach, how was the trip?
It was great. I talked about it in our last show, so I won't harp on it a lot. But, Bo, I do hate that I did not get to meet you. I hate that I did not get to hang out with you. I know we discussed possibly hanging out. So, next time that I'm down, you're going to have to request off work or something. I don't know what you're going to have to do, but we're going to have to work it out so that you can meet up with me and I can meet up with you. And I'm really looking forward to it. Al says, go.
Yes, sir.
Al's another
Okay,
guy
so
I'm gonna be up with.
y'all got to let us know, Al,
Father and son.
Bo, father and son. Okay. Just wanted to make
Yep.
sure. I thought
You're
so.
behind.
I thought
You're
so.
behind.
Okay. So, Zach, Tigers are up 1-0. It's the top of the second. They got runners on first and second right now, one out. Josh Pearson is up to bat. So, little changes in the lineup tonight.
For real.
And I think it's for a reason. But the biggest one being that Luke Lito is playing first base tonight and Morgan is in the DH spot. And since Morgan is in the DH spot, Joe Bear is in right and Pearson is in left.
Yep.
What do you make of this?
Blake kind of let me know, told me it was basically because he's been injured. There's a base hit. Come on. Round. Hey, there we go. Oh,
You're a little ahead of me.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Safe
We're
at
going to be doing
second.
this tonight.
Was that Leto or was that Pearson?
No, that was Pearson.
They're going to review that play. Josh Pearson hits one of the gap right over the shortstop. Jordan Thompson scores. Hayden Travinski makes it to third. Tigers up 2-0. Trey Morgan's dealing with injury right now, so that's why he is in the DH position and Leto is at first. We finally get to see Joe Bear in right, which is what we've talked about for a while now. It will be interesting to see him field. I believe, Reagan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first game he's actually been in the field.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting to see tonight. But Reagan, really what I'm looking forward to most during this game, and this is what I mentioned on Blake's show right before we hopped on over, I want to see how Ty Floyd does because Ty Floyd looks really, really impressive. Last week during the midweek game, he threw, I believe, 8 strikeouts, didn't allow any walks. He allowed 2 solo homers, but overall, he looked really impressive. His fastball was working. But also last week, he was landing his curveball. And he was pitching like he was near the end of last season. Yep. And a reason I think this is important, and this is really the storyline that I'm going to be following mainly this game because this is a game you should win. You should beat them by a ton. So hopefully they
You
do.
hope.
But I want to be following the Ty Floyd storyline during this game because, what is the potential for LSU if they're able to gain a fourth starter, right? What is their potential then? The bullpen has kind of solidified itself, right? It seems
No
like they kind
doubt.
of know who their guys are. They know who they're bringing out, and when they're
They have an
bringing out,
identity. Yeah.
they have an identity with their bullpen. And so I am interested to see how Ty Floyd pitches tonight because I want to see if we have another guy that we can rely on. Once you get into postseason and you have to play 4 games, like when you're in the SEC tournament, or you get into a regional and you have a loss and you have to play 4 games.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he pitches tonight because he could potentially solidify another starting role or potentially could, make it hard on this coaching staff to see if he could potentially come back into the weekend rotation. So that's the storyline I'm following tonight for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to agree. You love what you saw out of Ty. It seemed like, beginning of the season, all you were seeing was fastballs. That's about all you were getting. And then he kind of, took a sabbatical, a short break after he faced some struggles and kind of got taken out of the weekend rotation. Now has kind of found himself in the midweek, trying to work himself back in. And last week was really impressive. I mean, as you mentioned, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't just fastballs the entire time. So absolutely. I mean, you've got to get this guy some experience. You got to get him working for the postseason because there's definitely if you make a push, there's going to be an opportunity for him to pitch without a doubt. You will need him at some point in the postseason. Yes, the Joe Bear being in right field. I mean, we've wanted to see that. He has played well so far. He's had 2 balls hit out to him. He fielded one cleanly. The other one nobody would have got to. It was a double down the line, and he got it in. And I mean, no issues. So so far, I mean, it's been routine stuff for him. But yeah, I figured the whole Luke Lito, Trey Morgan thing was him dealing with his knee issue. I mean, it's been quite apparent that Trey has not been 100%. I mean, Jay said not too long ago the team was playing pretty beat up, and Trey's had that brace on his leg the last 2 weekends, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's been 2 weekends that he's been wearing this brace. He's still wearing it. So you got to get healthy. Some Jay Johnson gave a little update on Gavin and Milazzo. They really are okay right now. They're just managing like pain tolerance and trying to figure out what they can and can't do right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if here soon we may see Gavin or Milazzo worked back in. It is crazy to think, and it just doesn't feel like it's been that long, but Milazzo has not played in a game. I know he pinch hit one time, but he has not caught in a game since we played Texas at the Shriners Classic. I mean, that blew my mind. I'm like, I can't believe it's been that long since he's been behind the plate. But it's definitely been a lot longer than I had initially thought. In other news, Mikey Romero has kind of made it official this week when he signed to LSU. Mikey Romero is a kid out of California, shortstop, one of the better shortstops in this class. He's a kid who was committed to Jay Johnson at Arizona, and then he makes the move to LSU. Romero decommits, and then swiftly after commits to LSU, and now has signed. What does that look like maybe next year? Because we've had our struggles at shortstop of late, especially this year in particular. We've really had our struggles in probably the most crucial fielding position there is. And most important one, kind of supposed to be the leader on the defense. Your shortstop, you've had problems with. What does Mikey Romero bring to the table? Maybe that could shake things up next year, or what do you think it looks like next year when it comes to that position?
Well, I'm not going to say that he's going to come in here and immediately take the job,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But you also got to think there is going to be turnover. You know, you're going to probably lose Jacob Berry. You're going to lose Kay Doty. And so that's two infielders that you're going to have to replace. Jordan Thompson is a sophomore. We know about the struggles that Jordan Thompson has had.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say that he's going to come in and just take over Jordan Thompson's position. But I think he's definitely going to come in here and compete because he's a really, really good, highly rated shortstop that can come in and definitely take a position. But I mean, he's got to get in here and compete against all the guys that not only are starting right now, but the guys that are on the roster right now that aren't playing. So I never want to say that a freshman, a highly rated freshman, is going to come in and just immediately start. But
Yeah.
you know, at least now from what we see, the fielding issues have been a problem. And so does he come in? Does he solidify, you know, one of the the hot corner at third or the shortstop position, maybe even second base position, maybe. But definitely LSU needs help. LSU definitely needs help. And so we'll see how that plays out. Close play at first, very close play at first, but LSU unable to score. They had runners on second and third. Unfortunately, Cruz struck out, and then the slow roller there, they're able to beat it out there at first, barely. After Privateers made a pitching change, so LSU still leading 2-0. But yeah, Reagan. I mean, I think it's a little too early to tell with that.
Yeah, for sure. So this weekend, I mean, look, you got to take care of business tonight. There's no doubt about that. And if you take care of business tonight, you're sitting at 28 wins. So if you get this 28th win and you go into this weekend and you're able to pull two, you're now sitting at a 30-win season, and you got, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. You would have about 12 more games left in the regular season, and you could really make a push and make a name for yourself when it comes to hosting for a regional if you can win this weekend. And in fact, I feel like if you take care of business this weekend, there's a really good chance that LSU could be hosting a regional. Georgia's coming in. I'm pretty sure in D1 they're ranked 14th. They've been a solid team, kind of the second team in the East so far. You would figure it'd be Vanderbilt, but Tennessee has really taken over the SEC by storm. And I mean, they're 17-1 in SEC play. It's the greatest start in SEC history. They're really scary. But this Georgia team's good, and they're coming in this weekend ranked higher than you are. They're coming to Baton Rouge, Alex Box. I mean, man, if this is a big time series, and we need to capitalize here. We really do. I mean, if you're able to win two the rest of the way, you're looking really good. But this weekend, I think, is your biggest weekend for the rest of the regular season. You'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You just need to get two, Zach. I mean, what does it look like if maybe LSU drops this series? What are the chances we could still make a push for hosting a regional? Is there really an opportunity for that if we lose this weekend?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you know, you can get one, and I think you still have the opportunity to host a regional. You know, it just depends on how the rest of the series play out after Georgia. But I am worried about this weekend because LSU really struggles with ace pitchers, and fortunately for Georgia, they have their ace pitcher back this weekend, and so that has me nervous because LSU baseball also their offense at times has been inconsistent. And so what happens if you go out, you face the ace, and then on another night, on Friday, Saturday, or excuse me, Saturday, Sunday, you have, you know, one of those inconsistent off nights with your offense. And And then, so there's a lot of factors that come this weekend, but I am nervous about this weekend. But I definitely think, that losing this series, maybe even getting swept in this series by Georgia, I definitely think that it doesn't keep you out of potentially hosting a regional.
If you get swept this weekend, you got to fight really hard.
You probably sweep the rest of the way.
Yeah, if you got swept this weekend, which I don't want to say I don't expect us to get swept, but I don't expect us to get swept this weekend against
It's
this
at
Georgia
home.
team.
You're
Right.
kind of catching on right now, catching a groove, getting some mojo going. So, I'm excited. Reagan Al Landry sent an interesting comment. He said, "Should someone have subbed tonight at short?"
I wouldn't have been against it. I would not have been against it. I do not mean by at all to try to rail on JT, because I mean, obviously he's a good kid. I don't think he's some horrible person by any means, but the struggles are there, and sometimes it's just you got to make a tough decision. I mean, but right now, I mean, it's like you almost don't have depth at the shortstop position, because we've tried K Doty. We've moved JT over to second, tried that out. I mean, nothing changed much, because you saw Doty kick the ball a few times. I've mentioned trying Bianco. I don't know if you make that move or not with his bat being the way it is. You've tried Cranford, and his bat has
just about
almost
everything. It's been a smorgasbord over there.
You've tried things, and nothing has seemed to go the way you wanted it to. So if you have another suggestion of someone who could play there, I'd love to hear it. Like, I mean, I genuinely mean that. Like, what are some ideas of some guys who could play that position right now? Because it just doesn't feel like we have the depth for that. I mean, it doesn't feel like we have somebody who could step in.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, Reagan. I mean, you've already heard it from Jay. Like he said, we're doing.
Yeah, he's sticking with it. Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to see, any changes really outside of the guys we've already seen there. Which, by the way, opposite hit towards the right field. Runners advance to second and third, 1 out. Seems like they're coming out to visit on the mound. Jay Johnson is coming to visit on the mound right now. So 2 on, only 1 out for the Privateers. Ty Floyd's gotten hit on a little bit here early. So not great to see, but we'll see if he's left in and if he can work out of this. But yeah, Ray, I don't know, man. I think it's like Jay Johnson said, they're just going to stick with what they got, and you're just going to have to work around it.
And I think that's kind of the mentality to have. Like, instead of just you're heart of the season right now. You are in the heart of the season.
You're kind of past the point of tinkering with the lineup.
Yeah, you've tinkered. Like, it's time to settle in and roll with what you got. And I think JT is the best option. I do, as a whole. I know he's made several errors, but we know the talent is there for him to do. We saw it last year. I mean, he made some incredible plays last year. He's made some incredible plays this year. He's just kicked the ball a little bit more this year, and we don't know. I don't know if it's confidence level. I don't know if. I mean, I really don't know, because we saw what we saw last year, and JT's bat is there enough to justify it sometimes. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it is. I mean, it's not the best bat in the world, but it's right at 300. So, I mean, and he can make some great plays if he can solidify and rein it in. I mean, I'm happy with him being there. I mean, in the moment, you're frustrated and you're like, why in the world is he still there? We got to try something different. But once you step back and like you evaluate the roster, you're like, okay. And especially at this point in the season, like we mentioned, it just is what it is at this point. All right, so we will continue to update you on the baseball game throughout the show. Zach had it all up to date for you. 1 out, 2 on for the Privateers, second and third base. Floyd is still in, trying to work out of this jam here. So we'll see what he can do. He's got a 2-0 count on the batter presently. Hopefully he can work out of this jam here and not do too much damage to the lead that we have. So that is it for baseball for right now. Let's move forward here. We wanted to hit a little bit more on the spring football game, discuss some more things, maybe go a little bit more in depth. We kind of gave an overview, I feel like, of what we saw from the spring game. Maybe we can give you a little bit more today. Zach, is there anything specific you wanted to share?
Well, I mentioned in the last podcast, I mentioned that as the ball gets away there, looks like, is going to score. They'll be at first and third now with one out, so 2-1. I mentioned the play of Jaden Daniels and how there was a lot of stats that were where the meat was left off. There was a lot of meat left on the bones, I should say, with his stats. And one of the things that I noticed whenever I went back and watched the game is there is 5 times that I charted where Jaden Daniels took off and had runs of 10 plus yards, and they marked him well short of what he would have gained. He only had 34 yards rushing in the final stats that were released, but I'm thinking he is pushing probably 70, 100 potentially yards that is rushing. And so moving forward from that, Reagan, I went back, looked at stats. Overall, rushing wise, they rushed whenever everything was said and done, almost 270 yards. Now, if you take away the sack yardage, they netted almost over 300 yards rushing. So I know we're in a new age of the air raid offense and spreading them out and chunking the ball around the yard. But LSU looks to have a really, really good rushing attack with this ball club. And we're back in the days and age of Frank Wilson. Like, we mentioned the running backs and how impressive they were. So, I mean, they're going to be able to rely on all those guys. And what is Noah Kane going to do once he gets back in here, right? Armani Goodwin looked great and during the spring game. John Emery looked healthy. It looked like the ankle. He was handling the ankle fine.
Yeah.
And then, Josh Williams, who's the walk-on, looked really, really good at times. He scored 2 touchdowns. He had a truck stick former walk-on. Had a truck stick of Matthew Langlois during the game. You also had Trey Bradford, who I've mentioned several times. I think he's your best back, catching the ball out of the outfield. And then you just have all those. And like I said, Noah Kane hasn't even been here yet. Kane hasn't even been here yet. So, I really think they are going to heavily rely on riding the hot hand like they did back in 2012. I mean, Jeremy Hill's a good example of that. Coming in the season, he was not really the guy. And then he gets hot. They ride the hot hand. And, Jeremy Hill has an amazing season. Privateers tie it up, by the way, single to right field. Ty Floyd's getting touched here a little bit. They probably need to pull him, in my opinion. He hasn't looked great this inning, and in the innings before, he hasn't looked exceptional either. So 2-2 now with guys on first and second, 1 out. Tigers need to get out of this. But anyways, Reagan, with the running backs, I'm really impressed there. And I think also when you go back and you just look at the game in its entirety, there's a lot of play that impressed me even more. We were pretty hard on the DBs, but the safeties, I think they handled their own. They did. I mean, Fouché and Greg Brooks, the Arkansas transfers, they seem to have really solidified themselves there and have looked good. Looked good in the spring game. We didn't see the big, turnover or interception or strip fumble or anything like that. But they played really well. And Blake mentioned it on his show, and it was something that whenever I was watching during the game, I'm still very concerned with, and that is cornerback. I know we mentioned that Jarrett Bernard Converse and Seven Banks are not there right now, but not only are you worried about the cornerbacks and their play from Saturday, but with Jarrett Bernard Converse and Seven Banks coming in, you're also worried about the health there. Because, yes, you got some studs there. I mean, Jarrett Bernard Converse and Seven Banks is a fantastic 1-2 punch at the island spots, but they've dealt with injury. I mean, Jarrett Bernard Converse is dealing with injury now.
Yep.
Seven Banks dealt with it a lot of last year. And so that's worrisome. That's worrisome for me because if Jarrett Bernard goes down or if Seven Banks goes down, then you're left with Mekhi Garner, Radar, some guys that don't have like a whole lot of experience, and so that's definitely worrisome. As I mentioned, that LSU does go to the Pen. They're gonna bring in Jacob Hasty. Jacob Hasty has looked good here recently, Reagan. So hopefully he can settle things down here early.
Yeah, it was time to pull him. He's rattled. Thankfully, Jacob Hasty's fly is pulled up this time. Last time he pitched the whole time he was out there, he had his fly down.
I'm sure he probably got some heck about that.
I'm sure. I mean, they had. The teammates saw it and didn't say a thing to him. I mean, but he's out there. He has been looking good. I mean, with the loss of Javon Coleman, you need another left-hander to step up. Jacob Hasty has been that guy so far. Another guy that has kind of been on the shelf, Trey Schaefer, who had transferred in from southeastern Louisiana, a left-hander who struggled a bit, and you haven't seen him in a while. I kind of want to see him again soon. I would like it. If Hasty gets a few solid innings in, I'd love to see him. If we get a commanding lead eventually, I would love for Schaefer to try to get another opportunity here soon because you need as many arms as possible. I agree. I mean, and especially with Schaefer being a left-hander, that can definitely add to that. The loss of Javon was just so was kind of brutal to our pitching staff because I mean that dude was a left-hander vying for a starting position, and he would be, even if he wasn't a starting pitcher in our rotation. I mean he would be a crucial piece to our staff of pitchers. But we'll see what Jacob Hasty can do here in some pressure. Still 2 on, 1 out. And it's a tie ball game. With the spring game, we were hard on the DBs, and I went and looked at some of it too as well, and I think it was warranted to be a little bit worried. I really wish it would make me a little bit more at ease if Bernard Converse was healthy, but he's not. But Kelly has kept us updated on that and has said he's making good progress and he should be fine probably by the summer. And I think you're absolutely right about the running backs. I am looking forward to the running back room. No disrespect to Kevin Falk by any means because I think he's an LSU legend and always will be. But when Frank Wilson left, it wasn't quite the same. I mean, Clyde was incredible. I mean, let's be real. The 2019 team, all the players around each other made each other better. And I'm not saying that Clyde wasn't a good back, but when you're on a team like that, it elevates your play. When everybody around you is playing great, you got to elevate your play too. But outside of that year from Clyde, I mean, it wasn't just uber impressive like you were used to when Frank Wilson was there with guys like Geis and Fournette and the 2011 team that, I mean, Jeremy Hill, Michael Ford, Kenny Hilliard, there's some guys I'm missing. I'm drawing blank on the 2011. I mean, 2011, it was like you had 15 guys rotating in and out that were good. And so you've got several guys, and man, Armani Goodwin, I feel like is going to have. I think he's going to be a special player. Honestly, John Emery, He's got 2 years left of eligibility this year and next. He can use his COVID year because this is, technically his 4th senior year, so he can still use a COVID year if he wants to. But if he doesn't come back next year, Armani Goodwin, I think we're good at running back. Trey Bradford, I got to agree. I honestly, at first when I saw him, I was like, who is 26? Because I was like, who in the world is that? And I was expecting, number 8 out of Trey Bradford, because that's what I saw him in the last time he was in LSU uniform. And he also looks like he has put some muscle on. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember him catching a pass in the end zone at one point in the season. Sorry, Zeke's in the background calling for his mama, so y'all may hear him. But I was – whenever he made that play and they gave it to him in the end zone, it was a little out route thing out of the backfield. I was like, man, this dude looks like Trendon Holiday. This is a little tiny dude. Like this – he looks like he's wearing number 8. He looks like this little tiny dude. And this like number 26 guy trots out there. And I'm like, who in the heck is this? And he's kind of got the crop top jersey look on. And it's like biceps are sticking out wider than his shoulders. I'm like, dude, like, who is this? And I was like, it's Trey Bradford. Like, golly. Right. I mean, dude may be on the juice a little bit. Holy cow. I mean, hopefully not. But I was like, good grief. This guy looks like a completely different – Yeah. No PEDs. But I really like our running back room, and I just love having I feel a little bit more at ease with Frank Wilson being in control of that, because we know what his product produces. So we got to ask TA in here if you want to go ahead and throw that up, and then after we get that, I'll give some more. We got to ask TA in here. Ask TA, favorite TGB member, and why is it Pooh Bear? Zach, what do you got to say? Who's your favorite?
Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough
It is a toughie.
We haven't had Daniel on yet. We're gonna have to.
We've had Ant and Pooh.
We've had Ant and Pooh. Man, that's tough. See, there's two of the funniest guys. I mean, Pooh Bear and Chris got to be runners up for not runners up, but they got to be the two guys that are probably the funniest in the group. I mean, that's a tough though. That's a tough one though. That's a tough one though. So, and I love Ant, how he's able to view just sports and his memory of sports. He's in my mind, he's a lot like AD. Like, he just remembers a lot. He's very intelligent with sports. And then, Pooh Bear is one of those guys that I just love listening to Pooh Bear, man. He cracks me. He's got a great voice for doing. He
does. He really does. Great Pooh Bear does have a radio voice.
Yes, he does. And so definitely going to have those guys back on for sure. We're going to have to get Daniel on here, Reagan, which Reagan, boo on you, boo, boo. And in honor of talking about the Golden Boot and Pooh Bear, tomato, because you need to get in the spaces more so you can
I know he does the tomato thing.
And get to know those guys a little bit better. So, Sherry Berry says, of course, it's Pooh Bear, LOL. Reagan,
we love all the guys. I love all the guys. I love Ant's analytics and Pooh Bear's antics and radio voice. And I mean, it's a great blend of guys. Y'all got a great show going there. It's some great characters that kind of blend well together to put that show together. I do hope
on the other day. On Sunday,
I do hope to get in the spaces more here soon, guys. I have got. Let's see. Today is Tuesday, right? So from a week today, I will be done with this semester, and I'll be out on summer break. So maybe I can get in some spaces more often.
You better be in there once the fall comes around, once we got some football.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely got to get in there and talk some football. But I have spent I think 40 hours this week in a library, so that's always a blast. Ant is the lawyer of the group. There's no doubt. Ant is definitely a detailed kind of minded guy. But back to
I'm interested, Reagan, with these guys in here. We got some folks in here. Hey, Golden Boot, what was y'all's most impressive thing? I know I listened today. My cat is dealing with some sickness, some sort of something. I don't know. But I had to take him to the vet today. So on the way to the vet and on the way back from the vet, I listened to y'all's podcast from Sunday. I wasn't able to listen live on Sunday night, but was able to listen to y'all's podcast. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the interview with AM. So, what was y'all's most impressive thing to y'all during the spring game? What's an area that you feel like's lacking? And hey, everybody's sitting that in here. I see Donald Kelly Jr. in here. Donald Kelly, we've been talking with him a lot here recently. Really appreciate him and his support of Tigers Avenue. Of course, Alan Bowe. Hey, what was y'all's? Because I don't think we addressed that in our last podcast. We kind of was doing a big overview, and there was a lot to address there at the beginning, especially Saturday night. So y'all send us y'all's. Tonight's more of a laid back chill. We're watching the game. Tigers do get out of the inning finally, but they tack on 4 runs. The Privateers do 2 errors. Don't get Reagan started there, or otherwise there will be another Reagan rant. Reagan, I missed what happened, but I will ask Reagan. I missed what happened while we were doing the show. What happened with the errors?
Well, you can probably guess what happened.
Oh God,
I guess what happened. Okay, it was a fumbling. It was 2 errors on 1 play that scored both runs. Yeah. Jacob Hasty came back and battled to get the next 2 outs though to
Thank you, Jacob Hasty. Thank you, Jacob Hasty. Here we go. Golden Boot. For me, I was most impressed with the attention to detail and the running backs. I agree, Pooh Bear. I've mentioned that, and I don't know if you were in here a few minutes ago, Pooh Bear, but I really like that we are kind of back to where we were with Frank Wilson and the running back room, because it just feels like you are overall and as a whole better in the running back room. You're not 1-2 deep, you're 3-4 deep now. So, and that's what we saw whenever Frank Wilson was here. And I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
If y'all didn't see my hot Gold Boot, my hot take for the spring game was that the battle is not between Miles and Jaden, that it's between Garrett and Jaden.
I think Ant, I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's Pooh Bear, but Ant actually mentioned that in their podcast on Sunday. He actually mentioned that. He said it's a 2 quarterback race, but it's no longer Miles and Jaden. It's Jaden Nuss. And I mean, they fit the offense that they want to run. Miles Brennan, love the dude, but he does not fit what they want to run. And
it's not that he's not a good quarterback. It's he can't fit into the system. He can't.
He can't fit into the system that is best going to benefit LSU. The system that is best going to benefit LSU is going to be a system that is led by a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, how lethal could this offense be when you have we don't have to go into it because we've mentioned the receivers. Like, we've mentioned them almost ad nauseum, how talented and impressive they are. Like, you have all those guys at receiver. You have all those guys at running back. The offensive line is gelling now. You look serviceable at tight end now with Cole Taylor. It seems like you've got something there. You got Nick Storrs and Jack Mashburn now, to also in that room to help, with blocking and whatever they want to do with them. You got to figure out the quarterback. The quarterback is going to make or break how this offense runs under Brian Kelly and under Mike Denbrock. And to me, imagine how much more lethal it can be if you have a guy that not only can throw, but can take off and run. And that's why I've been hitting on the JD stats so much, because you look at the stats, you're like, oh, okay, 34 yards. Like, that's really good. That's pretty good. No, like, he could have had 70, 80, 90, 100 yards if they're not spotting him dead because a linebacker touches him in the back with their hand. Like, I went back and charted. There's 5 times base hit, by the way, right side. Trey Morgan gets on. Let's go ahead. Let's get something going here to come back after that horrible bottom of the second. So, like, I mean, I just want to see this offense thrive, and I think that
Yeah.
if you're going to get the best out of this offense and out of its weapons that they have at the other skill positions, you have to have a motor quarterback. And I mean, Jaden looked fantastic. I know the stats don't pop out, especially
Yeah, they are. They are.
with
But
the passing. And I've
Yeah.
mentioned that, he only threw it 9 times. Of course, the stats aren't going to pop. He also had
Right.
4 drops.
Yep.
What if he gets the drop? What if he doesn't? What if they make those catches? What if those drops aren't there? Right? Then
True.
the stats are better. What if he throws it 15, 16 times, 17 times? Then how do the stats look?
Yep.
What if they don't mark him short to set up situational downs and he only gets, he doesn't get 34 yards, he gets 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 yards. What are we talking about then, right? So that's my
Right.
point. That's not taking anything away from Nuss, because Nuss played fantastic. Nuss looked amazing. He looked smooth, and that is an area where JD has to work on a little bit. The offense seemed not as smooth and well oiled as it did. Diving, land, that ball is going to land, and Trey Morgan is going to score. That's nope. They had to wait for it to get down. Trey Morgan's going to be at third. Dang it. I was really hoping they were going to score there. Second
Great
and third,
effort by the
one
center
out,
fielder.
though.
What an effort by the center fielder. Wow.
Yeah, he laid out. I think they had to hold up because they were thinking it was going to be a potential catch there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, Reagan,
sure.
I'm done ranting about that, but and Golden Boot comes in here. He says, I completely agree. Donald Kelly, I agree. Running backs look solid.
You also said Miles odd man out. Agree.
Yeah,
Even Walker
I agree.
can move.
Miles is the odd man out. Even Walker Howard can move. Yeah, I agree. There is one that is not like the others, right? And it's Miles Brennan. Donald Kelly, Next Generation of Fire podcast loading. Thanks, Donald. I appreciate that. Really have enjoyed getting to talk to you in the spaces. We will be in the spaces later tonight. At least I will be. Reagan's going to be probably studying or crashing from all the studying and work that he's done. Al, my focus was on interior line play, center and both guards. Some good holes was opened up for the running backs to run through. Yeah, that's another thing we didn't talk about. Why did the running backs look so good? Because they had holes. And that was the offensive line getting a push,
Brad Davis.
Creating holes. Yes, thank you, Brad Davis. Reagan, think about it now. Brad Davis, Frank Wilson, let's put it together. Right? Man, you thought about how good the offensive line started to look at the end of last season and at how Ty Davis Price. Why did Ty Davis Price have the rushing yards and the games that he was having? It's because the offensive line improved. The offensive line was getting pushed. And now you're going to have an entire offseason entire spring, entire fall under Brad Davis, and you've brought in Frank Wilson. You're going to have entire offseason under. We talk about the passing game, and I know that's the flashy thing. That's what's impressive. But the running game is going to be –
You can have a very balanced – yes.
You can have a very balanced offense, this LSU team can. And that makes me feel even more positive, because when you look at the schedule, are you going to be 7-5, 8-4, 9-3? Not only now that you've gotten Jaden, now that you've seen what we've seen in the spring game, and you've got a really solid running back core, and you've got an offensive line that is gelling and looking really good. If you can nail down center, I mean, you're starting to look more towards the 9-3, 10-2.
And this may
already
be
looking there now, but you see what I'm saying?
This may be stretching a little bit. I mean, we can talk about the offense, because I think our offense is going to be really stinking good. I think they're going to make a good decision on quarterback. I mean, they're going to pick the best guy, and I think either Jaden or Garrett can do really well. And then, of course, we can talk all day long about what running backs, receivers, whatever. I genuinely believe that our defense could be one of the best defenses in the country. If Bernard Converse and Sevyn Banks come in And there's some dudes that can really hold their own, which we know that. I mean, we know Bernard Converse can. We'll see what Seven Banks can do. I mean, supposedly he was a solid. At Ohio State. We'll see what he can do in the SEC. Right. So if they can hold their own and stay healthy, I mean, dude, I think our defense can be incredible. I mean, incredible. I love what Matt House has done. I think Matt House. I mean, you saw, and we've already said this, and I'm going to say it again. You saw one coverage, one package. Yeah. I mean, it was one, and you had one set up front. By the way, bases were loaded. You got a slow rolling ground ball to first base. Scored Trey Morgan. It's 3-4 with 2 outs. Guys on second and third.
Hayden Travinski up
to bat. Luke Lito getting his first start.
Oh, man. Right to the pitcher. They get out of the inning. But Tigers do strike back. They get one back.
Tigers get one back. I mean, it's still very early in this game as well. But I think that this defense can be really, really good. I mean, this is no knock on Durante Jones, but Durante Jones was calling the defense for the very first time ever last year. Our defense is loaded with a lot of NFL-type talent. I mean, seriously. I mean, you think about guys like Ali Gay, Mason Smith, B.J. Ojolari, Jaquelin Roy, like Jacobian Gilroy. Those are NFL talent defensive linemen.
Yeah, Mike Jones.
Mike Jones could definitely be a linebacker in the NFL. If Greg Penn continues to grow, I mean, you have a loaded defense, and now you have a guy who has called defenses like all over the country. And I think we can be a really, really, really solid defense. I mean, LSU used to be known for just stifling defense, and I want to get back to that. Not only do we want to have this, I mean, in this flashy era of football where it's like all spread offense, score a lot of points, it's fun, but you got to win games by getting stops too. And if you can combine the flashy offense with a solid defense, a great defense, you're looking at that's what 2019 was. We had a loaded defense with talent, and Dave Aranda, a brilliant mind who is becoming an incredible coach. And you combine that with an offense that's loaded with talent, and you saw what it produced. I mean, of course, you had Joe Burrow at quarterback, and that always helps. But I think this defense can be great. I think this team can do. I'm going to stick with 9-3, but I really, really, really think if we nail down just a few points in this team, that this team could be like 10-2, 11-1. Like seriously,
center, quarterback, and cornerback. You got to nail down those positions. You got to nail those. You got guys there. You got guys there, but you got to nail them down.
All right, Zach. I think we've talked enough about spring football. We'll hit a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll just hit a little Lagniappe, just a little something extra. That's what that means. We'll talk some NBA. Pelicans play tonight. Grizzlies are at half right now, down 2 to the Timberwolves. Our boy Bobby is not with us because he is in Memphis watching the game. He is there attending the playoff game. He got some tickets from one of his buddies, so he's there enjoying that. But let's hit a quick break, and then we'll come back and we will hit some Lagniappe.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
All right. Last segment here. Zach, we need to go up by that one comment. Let's see here. Who was it? Alley Boy. We need to hit Alley Boy. We do have some basketball news. We do. Well, I guess it's not major news. But it's your boy Matt McMahon's birthday. Happy birthday to the new basketball coach of LSU.
Hey, we also did get a transfer from Mississippi State.
Yes, Derek Fountain.
So, thank you, Matt McMahon, for rebuilding this program because that's what it is. It is a rebuild of the program. Also, very likely that you are going to
more players,
some guys
coming back
from LSU.
I called it.
There you go. So, yes, a little bit of a basketball update, but obviously the biggest thing that is the biggest cloud, the biggest shadow over LSU basketball right now is we are waiting the impending sanctions. So
what's it going to be? Yeah.
What's it going to be?
What's it going to be? So, in other news of basketball, Cam Hayes has made it to campus. Kendall Coleman has made it to campus, taking some photos in their new colors and taking some new photos with their new coach, Matt McMahon. Good to see them on campus and getting rolling, getting acclimated to their new space. Zach.
Great catch.
Zach.
Hasty strikeout, Jacob Pearson. Josh Pearson, I should say. Great catch, banging up against the wall.
I'm about to watch it right now.
Carl says,
I'll tell you what.
LSU pushing towards season record for errors.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Carl probably knows about that. Carl's been like, I probably can't even imagine the amount of times that Carl's been to LSU games. I was gonna say count on my hands and my toes, but man, we'd have to get a whole bus load of people and counting all their fingers and their toes that Carl's been to LSU baseball games. So he probably has a little insight in on that. So anyways.
I think Josh Pearson is going to Josh Pearson has a bright future at LSU.
And
Josh Pearson is going to make it to an incredible outfielder at LSU. And I think Andrew Stevenson's brother, Josh Stevenson, will eventually as well. I think his bat's got to improve. But you saw that with his brother Andrew. I mean, his Andrew's bat at first was just awful. But you had him out there because he was probably the best outfielder in all of college baseball.
Yeah.
In center field.
We complained about him a lot when he was a freshman and a sophomore.
And his bat improved. And, he was one of the best players in college baseball. Really. Al Landry, good point here. Coach Kim reloading with 3 transfers of her own. She also landed the girl who played. Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank on her name. I don't want to mispronounce it, too. It's something Johnson, Fluge.
Somebody can help us in the comments.
She was the one who won the MVP at the Jordan Brand game for the high schoolers, and she's brought in some transfers, 2 from West Virginia. Kim Mulkey is going to continue to be incredible. Who would have thought 3-time national champion Kim Mulkey would have came to LSU and done great? Who would have thought that?
Cardone said since 1986 he's been attending LSU baseball games, and the 1993 team holds the record for the most errors. What is it? What is it, Carl? What is the most errors, and what is LSU at? Should we make Carl?
Yeah, what are we at currently?
Should we make Carl our stat guru? We need a stat guru.
He stat can definitely that, Carl.
Be our baseball stat guru.
Stat that.
Where's LSU at now, and what is the record for the Jacob Hasty gets a strikeout, 3 up, 3 down for the Tigers. Great inning there for Hasty. They just got to stop the bugaboo with the errors, and hopefully they can pull away in this ball game.
So Zach, I got to admit it. I've got to admit it. I've been following Memphis, obviously, in the playoffs, but I have been following the Pelicans as well. And kind of starting to fall in love with the Pelicans team, and I'm not losing any love for Memphis at all by any means. No lost love for Memphis here. I'm obviously pulling for them, but I have fallen in love with what the Pelicans are doing. I mean, they are the 8th seed playing the 1 seed, and it's one of the best series in the playoffs so far.
Yes.
And a lot of y'all I know are probably Pelicans fans, and I want to get your opinion on this, and I think a lot of you will agree with me.
Shout out AD.
And AD.
Shout out a lot of other people.
I mean, probably a lot of them. I mean, Louisiana roots. I mean, they're gonna pull for the Louisiana team. So a lot of y'all will probably agree with me on this. What CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram have brought leadership wise to the team, plus the young talent in Herb Jones. Herb Jones?
Yes.
Herb Jones, Jackson Hayes. Jonas Valanciunas has been playing great for them. The chemistry that it seems like this team has, and please don't let me forget Jose Alvarado. I mean, the rookie who has had just a sensational season and continues to play great and is a thorn in Chris Paul's side this series. With the way they have been playing, would it not be crazy to think to let Zion trade Zion? I know he's probably on his rookie contract, and I don't know how that works when it comes to trading a rookie and whatnot. He's not a rookie, but on a rookie contract. Am I crazy to think it would be okay to let him go and get another role player that could fit into the system, because what they have has worked so well? And I feel like if you bring in another star like Zion Williamson, it could mess up what has become of this team. Because honestly, what they have right now is incredible. And it's been working. Right, and if you add another star to this, I mean, it could become this just incredible team. Like you put Zion Williamson in it, and he fits right into this. It could be a star-loaded team and incredible. But what if you add him to it and it kind of messes up what you got? The chemistry of the team, the way the team has been playing. Zeke, she'll be right back. Sorry, my son. Zeke is looking for mama. But y'all let me know y'all's thoughts on that. That's my thought. I honestly think it wouldn't be a bad idea to see Zion go. Maybe no hard feelings towards him, but what they have is nice, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to get somebody who could fit into what they're playing right now. And I just don't know if Zion fits in that.
I got to be honest, Reagan. I've kept up with both as well, and
it's been a blast.
I'm kind of falling for the Pelicans as my second favorite NBA team. Grizzlies will always hold the first spot. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty cool. I've caught myself watching both of those series.
Not only have I caught myself watching them, I'm being pumped about them. Like I'm very much looking forward to watching the rest of the Grizzlies game and watching the Pelicans game tonight. I am very much looking forward to it.
You know what that means? That means we need to hurry up and get off here so we can watch the rest of and the rest of these series. Carl Dunn said record for the baseball errors is 125. Where are we at right now?
Hopefully not close.
Pearson has struck out.
Cruz has struck out.
So this pitcher for the Privateers has definitely settled in and given this Tiger lineup some troubles. Jacob Berry now up to bat. Need to get something going. You're only down 1, and this guy can a
lot of ball left to play.
A lot of baseball left in a hurry. Ooh, he just missed it right there. But Reagan, I think we're good to wrap the show up. It's been a good show.
We're at
Carl
56
Dunn,
right now.
They're at 56. Ooh. Well, I don't know if they're gonna catch. I don't know if they'll catch 1993. I don't think they'll catch 1993.
I sure hope not. Lord have mercy.
56 is bad. 56.
Lord have mercy.
Really bad, especially in this day and age. Nonetheless, our Tigers, we're going to continue to root them on.
Absolutely.
They're down right now. As you said, a lot of baseball left. Pitchers are just really struggling to locate this guy's pitches right now. And hopefully that changes here soon.
Absolutely. All right, let's hit a quick break, Zach. real quick, and then we'll come back and we will wrap this show up. We'll see you right after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Thank you, Al. I knew it was like Flu J, but I didn't want to mispronounce it though. I didn't want to. I knew it was a unique name, Flu J Johnson, big time recruit coming into LSU for Kim Mulkey and her Lady Tigers. Of course, her transfer. She's been hitting the portal, looking to be another great season for the Lady Tigers basketball team next spring. Excited for that as always. Jacob Berry flies out for the last out in that inning to center field. Tigers are down 4-3 as we wrap this show up. We appreciate all y'all's interaction and comments. We love to do this, guys. We love to talk to y'all, and y'all know we love talking to LSU sports all day, every day. And so y'all come back next show and interact just as much, and we'll be looking forward to it. We'll see you next time in the Tigers Avenue. 5-star Hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star?